Okay, I believe we should be live. Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to my live stream, my live discussion of episode 105 of Pokemon Horizons. We got two different plots going on this episode, and yeah, we got Mighty G and Amethio teaming up for a bit. And then we have the rest of the episode taking place at the beach, your typical beach episode. So, how was this episode overall? Well, glad you'd asked. Before we get started, if you're someone that's new, you're coming across this stream/video for the first time, kind of what we do here, just so you're aware. I know people that are probably longtime viewers are probably getting sick of me doing this, but I gotta do this for anybody that's new. But I give it about 5-10 minutes for people to show up in the chat. Then I'll give my thoughts on the episode. I usually give like a summary of the episode, give my thoughts, pros and cons, and then I assign a rating to the episode. And then I hand it over to the chat, and then we talk about the episode, probably the next episode as well, since the preview is included at the end of the episode, so it makes sense. Usually go on typically about an hour, hour and a half. That's about as long as I think we should go for these streams. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but hour and a half is pretty much it seems to be the right the right amount of time to go over the episode. Typically I do these on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. However, if I'm out of town, like on a trip or something like that, and I can't do the live discussion, I'll usually do it on Sundays, whether it's at 12 p.m. Eastern Time Zone or 8 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. It'll just depend on, what's going on the previous day or whatnot. Anyways, yeah. There's that, and then the music here in the background comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge. It is basically lo-fi remixes of video game music along with some originals here and there. You get your Pokemons, you get your Zoldos, Marios, Final Fantasies. Pretty much a lot of the more, most popular video game series. You'll probably get a lo-fi remix of a song from that said series. So, link in the description. It's pretty cool. I listen to it all the time, and you hear it in these streams. So, yeah. Anyways, before we get to my summary part, let's see who's here. It looks like Sharon's here. Hey, you got some things to say. I see that. Steve and I have mixed feelings on this episode. I will get to what I thought about the episode in a minute here. But yeah, glad you guys are here. Hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday before the new week starts. I'm just ready to go back to work. I am so happy, guys. Gotta love it. Hope you're all doing well. Hope your weekend went well. Don't know if we're gonna have a lot of people here, but hey, we'll do what we can. Have they released a summary for episode 107? I have not checked recently, as I literally came back from a trip. But last I checked, no. So that means no episode discussion. Not until I see a summary for that episode. Gotta be patient. We'll talk about the episodes when it's time to talk about them. I wish I could add everyone in my Discord, but apparently some people that have been joining lately have been kind of ruining the fun for everything, so can't have that anymore. Oh well. Okay, anyways, it looks like we've hit the 5-minute mark. Sharpedo out the water, yep. Anyways, we'll stop at that comment right there that Sharon just left. And we're going to go ahead and give a summary of this episode. So episode 105 of Pokemon Horizons, it is split into 2 different plots. So we'll start with plot A, which is Mighty G and Amethio. So Amethio is set off from the island he's been on for the last year, and ends up getting caught in a storm. Whereas Mighty G's just sailing the seas. He's doing his own thing. It's Mighty G, but ends up saving Amethio. And they basically, the first part of this episode is them hanging out. And it's kind of interesting because Amethio's rich boy tendencies are coming out because the little spoiled brat here, doesn't really know how to take care of himself. He did learn how to roast some berries, but other than that, he really just doesn't really know what to, how to take care of himself properly. So Mighty G is essentially acting like another father figure for him. And he also teaches him to make curry and, dry his clothes off and all that stuff. Well, Mighty G is constantly running out of power over here. He can't maintain, his form for very long, and he ends up feeling it later in the episode. But yeah, this is pretty much kind of teaching Amethio that, hey, look, you can't always, go it alone, Once in a while, it's good to, hang out with friends and, have a good meal or two or something like that. So, I guess a lesson learned for Amethio, maybe? Maybe he'll be a little bit more open in the future to maybe, having some food with the Rising Bolt tacklers. Maybe invite Konya and Zerg to the table. But, not really too many crazy things happen here. Just more so, like, some character development for Amethio, so that was kind of interesting. Got a little bit more of his personality out here. So, 2 polar opposite characters, too. Didn't think that these 2 would spend time together in an episode, but yeah, I guess Pokemon Horizons, you can expect the unexpected. But anyways, moving on to the plot B of this episode. We're at the beach. We're chilling at the beach. It's the day after that bad storm. But Dot over here keeps falling for Gimmighoul's tricks, so to say. She doesn't really want to spend too much time at the beach. She actually has some shorts she has to make from her live stream with Iono. I kind of found it interesting that the subtitles reference shorts. Kind of interesting considering, yours truly does shorts of my own live streams as well. You've probably seen some of them. They're just funny moments from my streams. So, gotta say, relate to Dot a little bit in that scenario, so that's cool. But anyways, she keeps falling for Gimmighoul's tricks, but we actually find out that the Goldango, the Pokemon that Gimmighoul evolves into, likes to surf around here. And Dot notices that Gimmighoul here, looks like it wants to evolve, and it's inspired by the Goldango, and it wants to do the same thing. But anyways, after falling for its techniques, for its tricks multiple times in the episode, even putting a bunch of stuff on, barricading herself in her room, doesn't work. Gimmighoul actually manages to lure Dot out, but eventually they decide to surf with the Goldango. There's a big wave that's coming, so they're all, hanging out, going out to surf, and the Gimmighoul's with Dot. Ends up going in the ocean and stuff like that, and yeah. But Gimmighoul looks up to Goldango, and definitely wants to evolve soon. Anyways, towards the end of the episode, Dot goes up to Gimmighoul, is like, hey, I've been thinking, how to stop you from, pulling off these tricks and controlling us to getting you these coins, so, yeah, I'm gonna catch you. I can relate with it, though. Because she kind of compares it to her, being a big fan of Iono and wanting to, become like her. So she kind of, relates with the Gimmighoul wanting to evolve and, yeah, that stuff. And ends up catching it. But ultimately, it doesn't work out because immediately after it comes out with Pokeball, it immediately tricks Dot and her Pokemon to gathering more coins. So, yeah. So overall, I have to say I actually have mixed feelings on this one. So when it comes to both plots in this episode, I think they're fine. I actually think that it's pretty nice. Both of them, like, Emethio got some development. You got some more Mighty G screen time, that's always a plus. And then the plot B, it was nice as well. Like, the rest of the episode took place at the beach, but I feel, and this is just me, I don't know about you guys, but I personally feel that these two plots could have been their own separate episodes. Now, I can see why people might disagree with that, just because, you're splitting up your, episodes, so it's padding out the episodes more. But by doing this, by, like, combining these episodes together, it kind of rushed things, in my opinion. And, I feel like they could have done a whole episode with Mighty G and Emethio, because I thought, what they were doing already was kind of nice. And then, obviously, the beach portion, I kind of felt just short. So I kind of felt like it was just, like, rushed a bit. I feel like there could have been more dedicated here. And when it comes to the capture, I'm also kind of mixed. Like, on one hand, I think it's very unique and kind of unexpected for Dot to catch a Gimmighoul. And I will say I do like the fact that it is a Gimmighoul and it's not evolved. So we'll eventually get that evolution down the road, but she caught, Gimmighoul and not Goldango. So I give some praise for that decision. It's just that, like, I just don't really feel, I guess, as connected with this one. Like, I like how Dot's like, I'm the one that's always fallen for this, and I'm like, really? Roy was the one that fell from it, from the get-go, so I almost feel like it could have been, Roy that was constantly falling for this stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like more could have been done here. When it comes to captures, when it comes to, like, captures within the series, usually the trainer bonds with the Pokemon and then eventually catches it. Not really much bonding going on here. I don't know. It kind of... I don't know. Like, I'm mixed on this capture. Because, like I said, on one hand, I like that it's a Gimmighoul, and it is a unique capture for Dot. It's just that I don't think it was executed the best, I guess, is just my feelings on it. I don't know. I feel like more could have been done. It kind of almost feels like they checked off a box to be like, oh, well, Dot needs a third Pokemon. Here you go. So, yeah. I don't know, guys. That kind of kills it for me a bit. I mean, I like Gimmighoul. I like he's a little tricky trickster here. I like the little troll here, but, like, I don't know. Again, we had to wait, there's a 1-year time skip for this Pokemon to come back, and, it comes back and, like, it could have been done better, in my opinion. So, I would say out of all the captures we've had in this series, this is easily my least favorite. So, that's just my opinion, though. Anyways, so I'd say this episode for me, I give it like a solid, it's like a 7 or 6.5 for me, I'd say. Anyways, let's see what you guys thought in the chat. What did I miss? Hey, what's up, Thomas? Well, not much. How are you doing? Hey, Kelsey. I think the next episode we will get some ult focus, which is long overdue, and I wonder if we'll find out how Roy and Ult met. I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna do here. I'm wondering if episode 107 is gonna be going over that, possibly. We still don't have a summary for that, so we really can't say what that episode is gonna be about. But it would be really cool if we maybe got some, like, not only like the backstory of Roy and Lucario, but like how Roy and Ult met. I kind of feel like we need that at this point. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Gotcha. I feel like Dot's capture was the least impactful in the series so far. Agreed. I think you just angered people with your opinion. Well, it's my opinion. If they want to be angry, I don't know, get over it. I literally don't shy away from my feelings on stuff. If you've been following me for a long time, I've said things that are unpopular. And I stand by what I say. So if people are going to get mad at me because I don't think that the Gimmighoul capture was the best in the series, then, you know, so be it. I ain't changing my mind, though. I guess we'll just see how it is utilized in the future. Will determine how I feel about it. Anyways, guys, if you could hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Let's get the 10 likes here, you know. I might have just angered a bunch of you, but can you get me some likes here? I would appreciate it. And vote in the poll. We are currently sitting at only 5 votes. All right, guys, there's 9 of you and 5 votes. Go get up and vote. Or else. 8-7 is currently winning, which is pretty about on par with what I feel about the episode. I'm surprised Dot didn't catch a blip bug would evolve in a Dottler, then Orbeetle. I know, isn't that? I feel like that would have fit her more. I mean, Gimmighoul can't even battle, so it is useless in battles. It just wants to capture. It's just going to get coins, so it's just going to be a tricky trickster until it evolves. I don't know if people like Journeys, or the series that shall not be named, but this series is better than the series that shall not be. I've literally said that for a while. I think that this series is a lot better than the prior series. In fact, I think this might end up being my favorite Pokemon series. Currently, I have it around rank 3 in my whole ranking of the Anipoke series, but I'm almost feeling like moving it up to 2nd place at this point. I mean, Gimmighoul fits with the whole coin things, which she can use for donations for her streams. I guess if you want to relate it with that, it wasn't really coming from that angle, but yeah. I mean, battling with the cheese stick would for sure be something. Yeah. Definitely a random one for her team. Maybe it's for the plot. Maybe the plots could have been its own separate thing, but I appreciate the effort. Plus, it was done. Plus, was it done that horribly? I'm not saying it was done horribly. I'm just saying like it felt rushed. I feel like we could have squeezed a whole episode for both of these like plots. Is what I'm saying. I know some people might disagree and say that it might be padding too much, but like the Mythio and Mighty G stuff, I didn't want that to end in the episode, if I'm being honest with you. And then the beach stuff, it kind of just felt like... I felt like there could have been more. You know, only having like half the episode for both of these sections, I don't know, it just kind of just hurt the capture, in my opinion. The focus just felt very uneven, in my opinion. Like, it's like, oh, cool, you know, Mighty G and a Mythio, yay! And it's like, all of a sudden, beach episode. So I'm not changing my mind on that. I just think that putting these both in the same episode was not for the best, in my opinion. Would have liked it if Roy and Dot got a 3rd Pokemon in Arc 4 and a 4th Pokemon in Arc 5. I mean, they got their 3rd Pokemon already, though. Oh, you mean like a 3rd capture is what you mean? That's probably what you meant. Because they're on their... they got 3 Pokemon now. I mean, it took over 60 episodes to get a new Pokemon, and it just felt underwhelming. Yeah. Tyrese, what's up? They seem to be giving the character theme teams, such as Liko having an RPG theme team, Dot having a streamer Pokemon that influence people theme team, and Roy's Pokemon being black and yellow. Interesting. By the way, what's up? Welcome in. Did you ever see Hello, Scooty. If that's random, it's a movie. I have not. I actually haven't seen a movie. Well, I haven't really watched too many movies lately. Sometimes I'll go over to my friend's place and we'll watch something here and there, but yeah. I feel like Giraffe would fit Dot. Maybe. Give her electric Pokemon which she can use to create light effects in her streams. Yeah, there's other, that or like some other Pokemon could work as well. Controversial opinion, but I am happy that Gimmighoul didn't go to Roy. Roy already has a Steel type and will have a Ghost type. Plus, Lucario needs development before Roy gets a new Pokemon. That's what I've been saying. Is like, people when they're saying like, oh, Roy's gonna get Gimmighoul, I'm like, well, he technically already got it, a third capture or third Pokemon, that's Lucario. And we haven't really done a whole lot with it, so like might want to do, focus on that first. And then you can move on from there. Also, you have a bird that hasn't been doing much either, so you might want to focus on that too. I'm glad we have new episodes all this month. Yep. No breaks. Probably not a break until we get to September, October. Yo, what's up, Bricks? AKA Cam, Poopa, Stinka. Stinka Poopa. Well, how you doing? What's up, my friend? The Mighty G, when Corviknight was blowing, Mighty G's legs turned to jelly. Yep, well, his Mighty G power is wearing out. This is why you don't eat hair from some random guy in Japan that happens to be the #1 hero. It might cause problems like breaking your limbs and causing your feet to go into jelly mode. Plus he has noodle hair, yeah. I like how whenever Amethio would look away, he'd just go back to normal, and as soon as Amethio came back, he just immediately went right back to his Mighty G form. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. And I feel like Alt still hasn't been fleshed out very much, and we're on borrowed time. Well, this next episode is clearly going to be, an episode for him, and it's tackling his Dust Ball, so I think that this could be, a good character-focused episode that's coming up here, so we'll just have to wait and see how this week's episode goes, and if it really helps his character. I'm just worrying that introducing a new character mid-series was a mistake. Well, we don't know if it's a mistake quite yet. I mean, we're not even done with this current arc. But I can agree that it is a concern. I'm not brushing off what you're saying at all. I mean, it's valid. But let's see what this upcoming episode does for him, and we'll see if episode 107, potentially, is a continuation of, episode 106. Also, really quick again, if you guys could hit that like button, I would definitely appreciate it. We've only got 2 likes here. Can we get the 10 likes, guys? We got 12 people here, and I would appreciate the likes coming in. It would be really cool if you did that. I say this every stream, but it does really help. I'm just glad we saw more of his Sharpedo. You're going to see it with Mighty G, though. Alt is getting a development episode, which he desperately needs. Plus, those Dark Explorers from So 99 are back. Yep. Using different forms of the same Pokemon. Duranitan. Maybe that's their whole stick. It's like their Pokemon, they're using like different forms of certain Pokemon and stuff. That's kind of an interesting way to kind of utilize those characters, not gonna lie. They kind of replaced Zerk and Coney as thugs, though. Or as like the, main thugs of the series. Or grunts. Because Zerk and Coney are pretty much good guys now, so. Why can't they do a Kilowattrel focus episode where it has to fly through the thunderstorm to rescue someone? Exactly. Can we get something there? Like, can we do something with this Pokemon? We're in the hundreds and it's just not doing anything. Roy's kind of taken a bit of a back seat lately, I'm not gonna lie. So hopefully we can get some more Roy focus soon. Especially since he's kind of felt like he was, you know, seemed like the focal character for this part of the story. So I was kind of hoping for, you know, a little bit more from him. But maybe that will be resolved here soon. Maybe 107 is, you know, his backstory of Lucario. I don't know. Again, we have no clue. We still do not have a summary for that episode, and I don't want to go on here and be like, yeah, we're going to get that backstory episode, and it's something completely different. We have no idea until we get that summary. We just do not know. But when we do get that summary, I'll be making a video about that in episode 108. We know about episode 108. We just know nothing about 107 right now. We got a Lico focus episode coming up and an alt focus episode this week. So hopefully we get Roy, because we just had Dot. Or like this was like split between Dot and a little bit of Methio, honestly, for this week or this last episode. So Roy's kind of due for one. Looks like Alt Sableye is struggling in that battle, so maybe the Pokemon from the Dust Ball will come out and help in the battle. It is possible. It is possible, and we'll have to see what potentially that Pokemon is. This might sound like a negative. I feel like when a franchise introduces a new idea, it kind of isn't good the first time they try it. They say no one does it great the first time when they try a new thing. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting comment you made there. I would argue that like the Pokemon anime has really evolved and kind of gotten away from its formula, which is honestly for the best. It started with Sun and Moon, went even further with Journeys. The series that shall not be named. And then with Horizons has the biggest change because we swapped out protagonists. So I'm at the point where it's like the series is doing its own thing. But I see your point about like introducing the character midway through the story. We're going to see if that actually ends up panning out. If it does not work and Alt ends up being kind of underwhelming by the end, then yeah, I don't want them to ever do something like this again. I imagine they could use different forms of Marowak and Sandslash. They could. They could have, you know, the original and then the Alolan forms. For example, with this franchise, they screwed up Max and we're better with Bonnie. You know, that is true. Like, Max, they just kind of really screwed up, like, the young character, the child character among the group. Bonnie, they did a great job. There was, like, a few moments in X and Y where I kind of was like, okay, Bonnie, you're kind of getting on my nerves. But overall, they did a fine job with her, especially, you know, her relationship with Squishy or Pony-chan. But yeah. I just think this series doing its own thing, you know, and telling its own story was a good idea. About time we had the Pokemon series that kind of deviated from, you know, your normal plot. A very risky move, but I feel like it's actually padding out well, in my opinion. Roy is getting development in the next episode, is he? So it seems more like Alt is getting development. 107 could be focusing on Roy and Alt's relationship. Like I said, it's possible, but I am going to hold my breath until we get that summary, Sharon. I'm really looking forward to the Diana returning episode. Yep, me too. I'll be giving my thoughts whenever we get that 107 summary, but yeah. Kilowattrel needs another development episode where it learns a new move. That would be nice. Can you make it happen, writers, please, and thanks? Like, give it maybe Dual Wing Beat to replace Peck. Yeah, why is it still a Peck? Come on now, Roy. You trained for a year and it still knows Peck. Come on now. Last chance, guess what Pokemon is in the Dust Ball? Yeah, it's kind of... kind of got a couple of contenders. And like I said, I am in the camp where I really don't want it to be a legendary or mythical Pokemon. We've already got enough in the series, you know. And Lico's got Trapagos, which, you know, might not be the strongest, like, legendary ever, but, you know, it's, you know, regardless. I would just prefer it to be, you know, it could be a starter. That is a possibility. Or it could be, you know, another Pokemon from Kalos. We just don't know. It could be for a different region, too, for all I know, but Kalos preferably. So I have no clue what the Pokemon is going to be. I've seen a number of people give a wild bunch of takes on what it could be. I'm kind of just not participating, mainly because, like, I want to say, oh, it's this! And then it's like a completely left field, like, Pokemon. My request is just no legendaries or mythicals, please. We've got enough in this series, and Roy and Dot don't have, like, legendaries. I mean, Roy potentially might be getting Rayquaza down the road, so, like, are we just giving everybody legendaries? You get a legendary, you get a legendary, you get a legendary. I know the games, they do that, you know, you're as a playable character, you're gonna get it, but yeah. It just gets a little wild here in the series. Well, I do wonder if it's a mistake. There's a 6 Ranger trope like in Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Precure. Does it too? If you've heard of those, well, I'm familiar with Power Rangers and Super Sentai. Not so much the latter, Precure. I think I know what you mean, though. I think I see what you're getting at. I'm guessing a shiny Noivern or Grimmsnarl. Shiny Noivern would be kind of interesting. We need some, like, redemption for Noivern, considering, you know, Ash's Noivern just sucked. That would be cool. Maybe, oh yeah. Basically what Thomas said. I always felt like Power Rangers should have been more than 32 episodes. The Japanese version was usually late 40s, early 50s. Yeah. Gotcha. Give it more time. Hey, look! We got a Pokemon Lo-Fi remix here. National Park. Nice. Huh. I have a feeling we will go back to Kalos and maybe Roy and Dot will catch another Pokemon there. I'm kind of unsure about Kalos, to be completely honest, at this point. I think the best bet is in a flashback episode or flashback moment right now. I don't see any reason to leave Paldea right now. Not saying it's not going to happen. It's just when, you know, a couple episodes back when we were at the academy, Penny's like, hey, Dot, look at all these spots in Paldea that have all these Vicurium signs. And, you know, that's kind of, you know, the thing we're doing right now. So it kind of makes sense for us to kind of, you know, take care of that first and then, you know, move on from there. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm not ruling... By the way, I'm not ruling out Kalos. It's just that, like, I don't see the need to go there right now unless there's, like, some type of, like, major Vicurium, like, incident that beckons them there. But like I said, a flashback episode of Roy training there and meeting Alt, you know, and meeting Lucario is still plausible. I feel like that's still on the table. Well, at least in my headcanon. Should happen though. It'd be good. It would be good. It would be good. I feel like Roy gets shiny Rayquazas that people will be mad about it. Well, look. Yes, I can see why people might not like it. You know, I think it would have been worse off if he got it at the end of part 1, but he clearly didn't. He's still kind of working on gaining its trust. It's also kind of it's just been chilling for a year in the Dragon's Den and Blackthorn City and Johto, so it's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere soon. But I feel like there's still more that can be done for Roy to eventually gain its trust. But we haven't reached that point yet, so we'll have to see if you know, Roy does something in the future that causes it to be like, "Yep, I'm going with you." You know, I feel like Roy is kind of working towards that, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Goldango would have Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, and Thunder Wave. Roy should have caught Frigibax and Nimble. Frigibax would have been nice. They'll go to Kalos, but it will be at all anime exclusive locations like in Johto. Yeah, if they go to Kalos, unfortunately they gotta avoid, you know, showing off past characters. Did it in Galar. Did it a little bit, you know, when we're in some areas in Kanto and Johto, so, you know. Gotta avoid any past characters from showing up or else. Or they'll go to Kalos, but there won't be any mentions of certain characters. It's a superhero thing, gotcha. Xavier. Is that how you pronounce your name? Sorry. How you doing? Welcome in. It felt like the Journeys two-parter segments, 26, 41, and 58. I see the point you're making. Not quite, though. Those were like, you know, those were like as episodic as Pokemon has ever been. Those felt like your traditional, like, Western cartoons. But, like, you know, technically it doesn't really fit the same category because we knew they were going into, like, you know, Methio was leaving and it's got a continuation from the previous episode and, you know, Liko and the others are nearby want to go to the beach and stuff, so. But I see the point. I just think that this should have been, you know, 2 separate episodes in my opinion. Getting Salazar would be neat. Maybe. Even though I don't know if this is it for Dot, though. She might be done at 3 Pokemon. Even though the Volt Tacklers, at least no one's been giving them bad looks or throwing tornadoes at them. Not lately, at least. Miraculous 365, what's up? For a second, I forgot Lycanroc was in the episode. Yeah, it showed up for like a little bit, and that was it. Also, Orla and Molly are in the episode, but they didn't really do much. They're going to Kalos soon, and then it'll be in October when ZA is coming out. It'll be only for like 4 or 5 episodes, and they'll go to Lumios. The city is so big that they could dodge old characters. That is true. If we go there. If certain Galar gym leaders didn't debut in the series that shall not be named, then they need a debut, and that's how pronounced. Yeah. I see your point, though. We already got Kabu, though. I was kind of hoping for Nessa and maybe some other gym leaders that never showed up, but I digress. I don't know if that's happening at this point. To be fair, those Journeys 2-parter episodes did have connections between the segments. Some of them, yeah. Yo, what's up, Ian? This is my second favorite Mighty G episode out of the 3 we got. Really wholesome moment with Amethia with with a character that we rarely see him interact. See, that's the thing I liked. It's like, it's a very random duo of characters, yet it worked out actually surprisingly well. Developed Emethio a little bit. He had more character in this episode than I've seen in a while. So it was actually nice. I actually kind of liked it. I just think that these two parts could have been their own episodes. That's why I said when I got done with that part, I didn't want the Mighty G and Emethio stuff to end. Despite knowing, you know, the second part led to a capture. So I say just put them in their own episodes and then boom. I wonder who will be the first person to find out Ludlow's secret. I don't know. He might have to expose himself at, like, maybe at the climax of the series. I don't know. Could happen. The Curry Emethio and the Mighty are eating looks good. Yep, that's usually how anime food looks like. Alola is off limits like Lakua. Is it? How so? Is it because of running into characters, certain characters? They could go to some of the other islands that we didn't really explore as much, though. I still don't know if I care for Emethio's dad. Why is he working for the explorers? He needs a job, but he's no longer the CEO. He got demoted. I'm actually surprised they're able to live in that mansion still, since he probably lost a huge portion of his salary. So they're about to get evicted. I don't know. Oof. Dot is the only one to not have a non-Paldean Pokemon. Yeah, so far her entire team is Paldean, which is interesting. I think it makes sense since Emethio just lost his grandfather. I think he was implying that Meiji reminded him of his grandfather. Like, yeah, he could be like a grandfather-like figure, which is nice. That's cool. So give Dot a non-Paldean Pokemon in either Paldea or another region they go to in the future. Maybe. It could work. If she gets more Pokemon, there's a chance that this could be it for her. There's actually a really good chance this could be it. Emethio's Corviknight needs to use other moves, maybe like Steel Wing or Iron Head. Yeah, but like again, he doesn't really utilize it a whole lot other than like usually flying around. Like this episode, it literally, you know, using Hurricane to like dry off his clothes is more than what it usually does. So, just saying. Gimmighoul could be a great Pokemon to get Dot out of her comfort zone, similar to this episode. Could be, yeah. I mean, thinking about it now, if I remember correctly, and this is going back, you know, a while back, when we had that first beach episode, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Dot just stay behind and didn't go to the beach with Liko or Roy? I could be misremembering, and someone in the comment or in the chat can basically let me know, but I don't think she was present. You know, she was starting to come out of her shell during, like, you know, Arc 2 more. It was, you know, a little bit more outgoing by that point. But, yeah, the fact that she was out there, you know, shows how far she's come. She did want to go back and eventually, you know, work on her shorts from her live stream. Similar to a certain other YouTuber that currently is hosting this live stream. But, yeah. And she eventually, you know, was like, oh, well, Quaxwell wants to go surfing. I can't really deny it. So here I am. You know, she's not being selfish anymore and, you know, being like, oh, I don't care about, you know, meeting people in real life. It's, you know, worthless. Have you ever watched Freaky Friday? Sorry if it's random. No, I have not. Sorry. It would have been nice if she had a third Pokemon that could battle before it evolves. It is what it is, Sharon. Yeah. think Charcadet could get Flame Charge in episode 198? You mean 108? Oh, yeah, I see. Since it's training and working on its speed. I was going to say, I don't know if this series is going to go to 198 episodes. 150 is definitely plausible, but 198, I don't know. Okay. Well, since I got a minute here, I just want to remind you guys, if you haven't liked the stream, I would definitely appreciate it. We're currently at 4 likes. Can we get to 10 likes before the stream ends? We got 11 people here, and which means more people could like the stream. Just saying. And also vote in the poll, because currently 10-9 and 8-7 are completely tied. Only 10 people have cast votes. Can we get some more votes up in here? Please and thank you. So likes and votes. Giraffe makes his anime debut in the next episode. It's cute that Giraffe is painting Sableye. Oh. Nice. 8-7 is back in the lead. Okay. Gimmighoul is going to be great in the Nidothing videos. Yeah. There's some potential there. I will give it that. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about this capture, but I am willing to see what this Pokemon does from here. And I can see that being kind of an interesting mon for the Nidothing streams. / videos. Just realized this is the first time since like Diamond and Pearl where main characters caught Pokemon in the hundreds, not counting small things like Go and Shaman or Misty and Clauncher. Oh god, I forgot about that. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that capture too, so I'm like, oh, that's cool, but it's not gonna do much, and since we only have like, not even 10 episodes left here. It would be funny to have Goldango in the Nidothing video, like maybe Dot does a stream where she shows Goldango surfing on Monkey. On money, you mean? That's the money she generates from her streams. Yeah, not gonna lie. Dot's probably the one that's pulling the most weight here when it comes to, everyone being able to, afford traveling around the world on the Bravasagi. She's getting all that AdSense revenue and donations and stuff from her fans. It must be nice, right? To be able to travel around the world and, stream and make videos for a living. It would be nice if I could do that someday. Maybe I should make my own Nidothing costume and go around and the world and doing the same thing. Dot is going to become rich. She just has to surpass Iono by the end of this series. And then she's one step to getting to the fame she wants. She's gonna be one of the big YouTubers at the end of the day. Dot becomes a millionaire. The first YouTuber in the Pokemon anime to become a millionaire. She manages to beat Iono to it. Okay, well, we've been going on for 50 minutes. Things have gotten a little quiet here. You guys got anything else for me today? I know it's Sunday, so normally we do this Saturday, so wasn't sure if we were going to have a lot of people here or not. Oh. So that boy character in episode 106 is most likely going to be a character of the day. I would assume so, Sharon. There's a chance that he may show up again, since this series is kind of, changed up the formula when it comes to characters of the day. Some of them end up, showing up again. So technically, in that case, are they really characters of the day? But, yeah, you guys got anything else for me? Kind of got a little quiet up in here. How would they show Giraffe? Using the move Doodle in the anime? I have no clue. Maybe we'll find out? Question marks? Giraffe. Is it Giraffe? Is that how you pronounce it? I kind of forgot about that Pokemon. Whoa. Okay. Sorry about that. What do you think could be an alt dust ball? I have no clue, Sharon. I have decided that I am not going to guess. I am just going to wait and see. Unless it somehow gets revealed prior to the episode and it's something big. If it's something big, I will make a video on it, but we'll see. I'm just going to wait and see what we get. Anything else, guys? Imagine if it was a Tyranitar. Do you really want it to be something like Tyranitar? Salamence? I don't know. His other Pokemon right now is Sableye, so it'd be weird. It's like, oh, I have a Sableye. Oh, by the way, I have a Tyranitar. It just won't listen to me. It'd be like, Alt, what the heck? Okay. Anything else? Oh, hey, what's up, Devin? I'm so glad they didn't fold and give Roy this Mon bad idea bad. Well, again, like someone said earlier, probably be best if, we, focus on the fact that he caught a Lucario off screen, and we haven't really gotten anything for it. We probably should do something there first before he catches another Pokemon. Just saying. I mean, Gimmighoul is a little troll, and I kind of like him for that, but yeah. Houndoom could possibly work. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm kind of in the camp now that unless it comes out that, like, oh, it's actually revealed to be this Pokemon, I'm just going to wait and see. For all we know, it's not going to get revealed in that episode, but odds are it's going to. If they're, like, teasing that Dust Ball again, then more than likely we're going to get that reveal coming up. It's just that Mr. Alt here has to be worthy of said Pokemon. Imagine if Alt's second Pokemon was also capable of Mega Evolution. It might be. We'll see. Alrighty, seeing as things have kind of slowed down here, I think we might wrap things up a little early tonight. So this will probably be like the last call for anybody to say anything in the chat. Plus, to be honest, we have not seen much of Mega Pokemon in this arc, despite the arc being called Mega Voltage. To be honest with you, I feel like they called it Mega Voltage mainly because that's like Alt's catchphrase. But yeah, I don't know. They could do more Megas, but again, we're in Paldea. Kind of away from, the region, where Megas are, usually at, so, Is what it is. But I think we're gonna go ahead and kind of call it here. It's gonna be interesting to see what's in this Dust Ball that Alt has. Maybe hopefully we'll find that out with this week's episode. And hopefully we get the summary for, we will get the summary for episode 107, whether it's anytime between now and Friday. Friday is like, we will get a summary for the episode then. But if we get something earlier, I will make a video on that in the next episode. We might even get the episode after that, too, so we'll see. Anyways, guys, do you think Horizon will showcase any new Megas from ZA? You've asked me this before, Sharon. I said I don't know. Okay, I'll call it a night. Bye, guys. Alright, Thomas. Take care. Yep. Anyways, we're gonna call it here. So this week, tomorrow and Wednesday we'll be doing Bonanza. I might fit in another day to do it, but we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling this week. But just expect Bonanza for a little bit, and then we'll be doing the Horizon stream on Saturday. This upcoming Saturday for this week's episode. So we're back on schedule. I will say, just as a heads up, early September, I believe the first 2 weekends we're gonna probably have the stream on Sunday rather than Saturday. As one weekend I'm gonna be at a birthday party, and I'm just gonna do the stream the next day, and then the weekend after that I am out of town again. So yeah, and there's possibly gonna be a time in October I might be out of town as well. So we'll see. So just a early heads up for the beginning of September. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for today's stream. If you're still here, thank you so much for joining me tonight, I should say. Well, have a good day or night wherever you guys are at, and I will see you all later. Bye.